What up, everybody? NeroTheHero here, and just a little bit of a backstory. So I genuinely get entertainment out of some of these quote-unquote console fanboy videos, right? Some of these, the videos, the ones where they're talking about consoles better than PC, or 5 reasons why console is better than PC, or 5 reasons not to buy a PC, this, that, blah, blah, whatever. I genuinely find them entertaining, right? So, after watching so many of these videos, I had a strange feeling come over me. Like I felt like I wanted to respond to some of these videos because while a lot of them I felt like were just trolls and just being silly and goofy and having a good old time on the internet, some of them had a different sort of tone. Some of them actually believe the things that they're saying, and not okay. That's one thing. Believe whatever you want. I'm all about just the freedom of belief. However, it's when people go around spreading misinformation and lies to downplay one platform in an attempt to convince the audience that follows you on your preferred social media platform that this opposing platform is worse and that you shouldn't buy it or you shouldn't invest in it. And that's just crazy. That is just crazy. I mean, that is... Okay, so in the world of anti-gamers, anti-PC, anti-this, anti-that, fanboy this, fanboy that, I consider myself none of those things. I do consider myself pro-gamer and pro-consumer. I'm not opposed to gaming on any one platform. Not at all. In fact, I'm a PC gamer now, but I used to be a console gamer primarily. I was all about my console until my needs changed, and eventually I got myself a PC that could game as well. And then I eventually realized that, hey, why don't I just do my gaming on my PC? And then I got rid of my console. That's all that happens. That's all it is. I felt like it was a better way for me to experience my games. I don't care what platform you game on. However, what I do have a problem with is the actions of these companies, the actions of these developers, the publishers, whoever makes these decisions. Because there's a lot of practices that are anti-gamer. They're not gamer-friendly. They're just cash-grabbing tactics. And that is what I have a problem with. So when people go around spreading lies about this sort of thing, having this undying loyalty to a company that doesn't even know you exist, and on top of that, just misleading your audience just to sway them to think one way and not the other, that's just chaotic evil right there, you guys. That is just straight up chaotic evil. So the video I decided to respond to, because yes, this is a video response. I decided to respond to a gentleman by the name of The Rated D. So he has way more subscribers than I do, but to me that doesn't really matter. I don't care how many subscribers you have. If you're pushing a bunch of nonsense, you're pushing a bunch of nonsense. So I want to respond to this video. However, I'm not going to try to roast him. I'm not going to insult him or make fun of him because, I mean, where does that get anybody? Other than, some laughs. I'm going to do this in a respectful manner, like a gentleman. So at first I thought this was a troll, but then I realized that, yeah, this guy, I guess he's a Sony enthusiast.
You are watching the Sony Legion TV network.
See what I mean?
What's poppin', people? I'm Rated D and I've tested positive for swag. Now, I didn't want to have to make this video because I myself am a PC gamer. Though I'm not someone that exclusively games on PC. PC is, really my second or third choice. I'm primarily a PlayStation gamer. I also like Nintendo quite a bit. And PC and Nintendo kind of switch around for second or third place. It depends on, the time of year, what games are out, things like that. But I am ashamed of myself to be calling myself a PC gamer sometimes when I see how the PC community behaves here on the internet. Recently, I've seen someone really start to get a lot of attention. I think his name is Rags, and I don't understand what's wrong with this guy. I think he needs to take a look in the mirror, really. I don't understand why people like him feel the need to bash on these console peasants.
Okay, he said he thinks his name is Rags, but I know for a fact his name is Rags because he's one of the channels that I watch, among others. I'm subscribed to a lot of channels. Anyways, his channel's fine. Here's what Rags does. He finds a videos like this one, and he creates a response to refute the points made therein, all the while providing colorful commentary. A lot of the time, he'll make fun of the person, the content creator. He'll mock them, and he'll joke. He'll clown on them, basically. He'll kind of roast them, while also pointing out the fact that they're not being truthful about the subject that they claim to be knowledgeable about. Some consider this bullying. Others consider him to be, cocky or whatever. Honestly, I just consider him a guy with a YouTube channel and some opinions. And he was tired about people lying about gaming because he seems like somebody who's passionate about gaming, much like I am. And he's anti-console. I mean, he is anti-console. He has said it himself. And that's fine. You can have whatever views you want. And it's not like he's going around telling people to go dislike these videos, dislike that, give this person death threats. He's not doing any of that stuff. He's simply responding to a video in a very snarky, sarcastic, almost kind of quirky sort of manner. Honestly, I like the dude's content. I like the way he talks, his vernacular, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Having said that, I'm choosing to take a more reserved approach to this response. It's a personal belief of mine that when you disagree with somebody, that it's good to express your ideas and opinions in a respectful manner. That's just me, though. So that doesn't mean I don't enjoy watching Rags rip into somebody's video or whatnot, especially if they're, lying about gaming. But anyways, I just wanted to just kind of say that. Let's continue.
I don't understand it because PC has its fair share of problems that these PC nerds don't want to accept.
Okay, this guy said he's a PC gamer, but he just called us all nerds as if it's a bad thing. Honestly, I don't have a problem with the word nerd. I'll call myself a nerd all day, every day. But I don't know. Anyways, I'm yet to hear of a PC gamer that will deny any of the inconveniences of PC gaming. That's just my personal experience, but I mean, I've never heard anyone say PC gaming is flawless. It has no problems, no issues whatsoever, because it's just simply not true. But anyways, continue.
Let me just run through a few real quick, okay? Because I'm totally 100% unbiased.
Okay, guys. Here's the first problem that I have with this video. One thing I've learned from my hundreds of thousands of years on this plane of existence is that you don't believe anyone that feels the need to claim that they're unbiased. Like, I don't know, like just the fact that he said that, like I now feel like the rest of this video is going to be full of biased commentary. But I don't know. Let's see. We'll just have to take a look at it. Let's see.
And I call it like I see it, you know? Now, as an Assassin's Creed fanboy, I still enjoyed Assassin's Creed Unity quite a bit.
I'm trying not to stop the video as much, but he just said he was unbiased. And then he goes and calls himself an Assassin's Creed fanboy. Now, I don't think he actually means that he's a fanboy, like having an unreasonable level of devotion to, you know, any one thing or whatever the definition is. But I just personally would have chosen different words, especially for a YouTube video, just because fanboy and unbiased, they don't really go in the same sense. Have you ever heard of I've never heard of an unbiased fanboy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if I'm really excited for something or if I'm like hyped, I'll say stuff like, oh man, I'm fanboying so hard right now. Or, oh man, my inner Sega fanboy is really coming out right now, guys. You know, that's really just purely, it's a joke. It's in jest. So I don't know. It's possible that he meant this way, but you know, I just wanted to mention it just because it's my video and I can do that.
Okay, and I got that on PS4. Now, the game at launch, yes, it had technical problems. Yes, it had frame rate problems, but the game still worked. You know, there were some levels early on in the game, you know, that there are these stained glass windows in these churches where when you were around them, the frame rate would dip quite a bit. Sometimes when you're around Notre Dame, the frame rate would dip. There was also a sneaking mission early on. In that mission, there was some frame rate drops as well. But at the end of the day, there weren't that many areas where the frame rate was bad, okay? And again, at the end of the day, the game was still playable. The characters still looked right. Compare that to PC, where many people couldn't even run the game. For a lot of people, the characters were not showing up on screen properly. You guys saw those now infamous bugs. I mean, the game was a mess on PC. And that's because the majority of people that matter game on consoles.
Oh boy. I really wanted to interject at several points, but I wanted to be fair and let him finish his thought, or at least this first part of it. But, okay, first of all, you start by saying that Assassin's Creed Unity had problems at launch on the console. It had problems with the frame rate dropping, right? But he sees this as being acceptable. Now, in my opinion, if a game is dropping frames consistently or in, you know, certain areas, that's inherent to the game. I remember Dark Souls, the first one on Xbox 360. Whenever you tried to go into Blighttown, no matter what copy of the game you had, it just always, the frame rate dropped to like 15, and it was the worst because Blighttown is basically the worst place you can be in Dark Souls. So I don't know if they did that on purpose, or they probably didn't, because there was a mod for the PC that actually fixes that. It fixes the frame rate. Not only that, but it unlocks the frame rate to make it 60 frames a second. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry. So I'm trying to say that, so if the frames are dropping in specific areas of the game, that is something that they could have fixed. However, he still views it as acceptable. Now, I'm about to use an extreme example, but sometimes extreme examples need to be used. Now, if you bought a car and it made a weird grinding noise every time you put it into reverse, so every time you put it into reverse, you heard like this horrible grinding noise, like some two pieces of rusty metal were just rubbing together, and just like anything could break at any second. Or even a step worse, what if it would literally just catch on fire when you did certain things, like turn the key? Like, would that be acceptable? No, obviously not. I mean, the product that you paid your hard-earned loot for, if it doesn't perform the way it's supposed to, like even to the basic standard, like maintaining a frame rate, is that really okay? Like, I don't think that's okay. It's one thing if you're on a PC and you're getting a lower frame rate because of the limitations of your hardware. That's one thing. You drop a new GPU in it, you're good to go. But okay, the real problem I have with this part is that he's listing all of the problems with the PC port, which there were just simply more of. You know, frame rates dropping is an issue with the game. It's like he was saying, if you look at a stained glass window or something, like the frames drop. You know, I mean, that can be resolved. That's an optimization thing. That's something that they should have fixed before shipping the game. So the PC port has many, many, many more problems. But just because it's the PC, it's broken because it doesn't matter? Now, it sounds to me like Assassin's Creed Unity just should have been delayed altogether because there are problems. There are problems with the game, which I assume they fixed them afterwards. I mean, I can only speak so much on the subject of Assassin's Creed in general, just because due to the fact that a certain company, Ubisoft, locking certain content on a certain game behind a DLC paywall, Assassin's Creed 2, that was originally intended to be part of the core game. I decided to stop giving my money to them because that was just ridiculous to me. But anyways, I just think it's interesting that if the situation were reversed and the game were outright broken on the console, I'm sure that would be a problem. And if somebody were to upload a video saying, oh, well, you know, no one cares about console gamers, how would that make you guys feel? Console gamers, how would that make you feel? I mean, I'm serious. Like, no one should be saying that about anybody.
Okay, so developers don't care to appeal to the PC community so much. You know what I mean?
It sounds like he knows something that we don't. But I really wish he would, like, cite a source or something, like backing up these claims that he's making. I don't think he's going to, though.
It's always going to be consoles first and then PC second in the minds of developers.
Are you like in the know with the developers, or do you know them? Have they told you this? Have they? I'm serious. Like, real. I want to know. Like, because if they haven't, you're just kind of making a statement and claiming that it's a fact.
And one of the reasons for that may be, now I'm not saying this is it, but it may be just one of the reasons that so many PC gamers pirate games.
I was afraid he would go there. All right, buddy. Okay, so if I had said something to the effect of, now I'm not saying that this is the reason America is the way it is, but maybe America is the way it is because so many black people steal cars. Do you see what's wrong with that sentence? Do you see how bad it is to lump people together and then just throw a blanket statement over them? So many PC gamers pirate games. How do you know? Do you know PC gamers? Do you pirate games? I mean, like, tell me. Like, what?
I mean, do you guys remember when Far Cry 4 came out? There were a lot of PC gamers complaining about some stuff in the game not working right, and then the developers came out and said, hey, if you're having these issues, that means that you pirated the game, because normal working versions of the game that people buy, we made sure don't have those problems, but we made sure that the pirated versions do have these problems.
Okay, I just wanted to point out that this is the second Ubisoft title that you're using as an example. I just wanted to point that out. And I have a question, really, more than anything. How does one make sure that pirated copies of a game have problems? Like, I'm legitimately curious. I mean, I don't have any doubt in my mind that there are countermeasures to pirating games or any sort of software. I mean, one of them is DRM, which is kind of a slippery subject, so I don't want to get into that. But I also don't have any doubt that pirated software has problems due to the fact that it's pirated. I mean, it was acquired by illegitimate means. There might have been some hacking involved, some manipulation of some code or whatnot, and that could very well cause, the code in the game or the software to malfunction. Also, what specific problems are you referring to? Now, if they put in a countermeasure to where every time they tried to start up a pirated copy of a game, it would go like this. That would make sense. And it would also be hilarious. But on top of that, you just said PC gamers don't matter to developers. And that's why PC ports have problems to begin with. So which one is it? Do they have problems because of people pirating games, or do they just have problems because no one cares about PC gamers at all? The devs, as you so claim. So far, to me, it sounds like Ubisoft doesn't care about PC gamers. Because, I mean, the only two examples you've used have been Ubisoft titles. Just saying. And, maybe by not caring about PC gamers, Ubisoft is perpetuating their own problem. Maybe if they just, maybe if they actually did care about, the ports that they put to PC, then people would be more inclined to support the devs with their money.
And this is also the same Ubisoft who at one point said that over 95% of their games on PC that people play are pirated.
That is an astronomically high number. Okay, so when you quote something that someone said, especially when you're trying to make a point in an argument, or if you're trying to make a point to refute a point that you disagree with, you need to cite your sources. I just did a quick Google search just now because the power of Google compels you to learn. I found several articles on the matter of, I'm going to try to pronounce this gentleman's name because I'm pretty sure this is French. Yves Guillemot, Yves Guillemot claimed this incredibly high rate of piracy. But none of the articles that I found or the interviews state where he got this number from. In fact, the writer of the PC Gamer article says this: "It would be rather interesting to learn where Guillemot has taken the 93 to 95% figure from. But a belief in that high rate of piracy would explain the aggressive DRM strategy that Ubisoft have been pursuing for the past few years." So I checked a source for another source, but there's no source or graph or chart or report of any sort saying that 93 to 95% of PC gamers pirate games. That is ridiculous. That is crazy. That can't be. And I refuse to believe it unless somebody shows me otherwise. Oh, by the way, I linked I linked 3 articles below, and then there was a Reddit discussion too. So click about those as you will.
That's insane. And then you look at the recent sales numbers for Titanfall. EA says the game has sold over 7 million copies on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox 360. Meanwhile, Respawn in the past have said that they had over 10 million players on Titanfall. What does that mean? It means that 3 million pirated the game on PC.
What were the time frames for these sales numbers? They seem like really inconsistent. Like you say recent and then past. We need citation, please. Citation needed. Oh man, I wonder if anyone's made like a meme or something for response videos. It's citation needed. I don't know. Somebody should. If not, I might do it.
So yes, PC has its fair share of problems, and it's largely because of pirates. Okay? Now, moving on from that to another point that's kind of connected to it.
Wait, that's it? You're just gonna say that and move on? Wait, can I see a chart? Citation? At least a quote? Something? Never mind. Just never mind. Go ahead.
Consoles don't really have complications. Everything. It's that one piece of hardware, and developers deal for that specific type of hardware, and that's it. You don't have 100 different types of PlayStation 4s the way you can have hundreds of different types of PCs, all these different drivers, graphics cards, all that type of stuff. So you have an easy, simple, basic, solid setup with consoles. You end up with a very solid gaming experience on consoles because everything has to be structured for that specific piece of hardware. Whereas with PCs, because of so much variety, you can have tons of complications. That's one of the reasons that there were so many different issues with Unity on the PC.
Oh, where to begin? Okay, yes. Consoles provide a baseline for developers to use to recreate games. Yes, due to the architecture and the fact that it doesn't vary from unit to unit, it does make things easier as far as development. However, this doesn't make PCs any more elaborate or any more complicated. In fact, consoles are more like PCs than ever. They have motherboards, power supplies, APUs, which is, it's not a GPU, but it's like a processor and a GPU put together, I think. Something to that. I don't know. I'll look up a description. I'll link it below. Because honestly, I'm not entirely sure how they work. I think it's something kind of like integrated graphics to a degree. That's really simplifying it though. So I'll link to something below to let you guys know, so you guys can, or you can just Google it. Just Google it too. You can do that. I'll Google it also myself. Let's Google together. He's making out PCs to be some kind of elaborate machinery which requires years of expertise and knowledge in runes to work with or something. But they're really not that complicated. Aside from, varying manufacturers and, you need to update drivers or socket types, PC parts have very little variance between manufacturers. And anyone who knows what they're doing will know what parts to use. And in fact, even if you don't know what you're doing, there's YouTube channels like Jay's 2 Cents, Bitwit, Paul's Hardware, Joanne Tech Lover. They not only go over what parts they use, but they'll actually build the dang thing on camera, boot it up, install the OS and everything. And the fact that PCs vary so much from unit to unit is a good thing. This is my PC. There are many others like it, but this one is mine type of thing. It allows you to custom tailor your gaming experience to what suits you best. If you want a rig that can play all of your classic old school games, it doesn't necessarily need to be powerful. You can build a rig for around the same price as a console. In fact, if you YouTube $300, $350, $400 PC gaming rigs or builds, you'll find many of them. Okay, here's a list of my my specs and all the parts that I have in my rig right now. This thing cost me around $500 to $550. It's before taxes and stuff. And also, none of these parts had just been released into the market. So this build is probably even less expensive now. It's not a top tier rig by any means whatsoever, but I can run all my games at 1080p, 60 frames a second, which is all I want to do. And honestly, I mainly got into PCs and I wanted to build one so I can start making dank YouTube videos like this one that you're watching right now. And if you have a PC that can render video, then you pretty much have a PC that can run games. Now, if your Xbox breaks, or if it red rings, or if it just freezes or whatever, if your PlayStation 4 it won't turn on, can you open it up to troubleshoot the issue? Well, yeah, you can, but it'll void your warranty. And Sony or Microsoft will no longer honor that warranty. If something is wrong with my PC, which I've had no issues aside from when I switched over to Windows 10. Things got a little weird, but nothing broke. If there's anything wrong with my PC that can't be fixed with a restart, oftentimes it requires me turning off a setting in an INI file or editing a line of text or it's just a setting that was on that should have been off. PCs aren't as difficult as you make them out to be.
And moving on to my last point, going about games, Assassin's Creed Unity being a multi-plat, you don't really have a lot of exclusives on PC, at least that are worth it,
This is my least favorite argument, so I'm going to make this one quick. In the description, there is a link to a Wikipedia page. That's a list of PC exclusives. Now, before you say there aren't that many there, keep in mind that this is in alphabetical order, and if you need to see more, just click on another letter. With all these exclusives for the PC, just the sheer number of them, just indie games, free-to-play games, PC exclusives, all of them. Out of all of them, I don't think any one person can definitively say that they're not worthwhile. Just because there's so many. You can't play them all. You just simply cannot.
With consoles, you have tons of high-quality exclusives that people all over the place, are championing as being some of the greatest games ever made. And I don't think it's any coincidence, and my buddy Dobby Potter has made tons of videos about this, that so many PC fanboys are making petitions begging for these different exclusives on consoles,
You guys must kick it with JTech TV. He says that stuff all the time. You know he tried to troll my channel once? I actually felt pretty special. He came all the way over to my channel just to try to tell me that Red Dead Redemption 2 had just been announced for the PC when a quick Google search told me that he was lying. He was trolling me. Anyways. Petitions aren't begging. They are a means by which a community or a group of like-minded individuals can display their desire for change in a reasonable fashion. In fact, here's the definition, because I don't think there's some of these anti-gamers out there that don't know what the definition of a petition is. So, the definition of a petition. There it is. Enjoy. Also, why do you feel the need to call PC gamers beggars because of this? Are you another one of those anti-gamers that revels over the fact that all gamers don't get to enjoy certain games on their preferred platforms? I don't see the problem in wanting a game to come to your preferred platform. For example, The Elder Scrolls. It wasn't always on console, you guys. It was a PC exclusive at some point, up until Morrowind came around, which is, to this day, one of my favorite RPGs of all time. I'm not saying that it's aged beautifully. I'm just saying it's one of my favorite RPGs of all time, just because of just the impact that it had both on myself personally and just on, the kind of gaming industry as a whole. Anyways, it came to consoles because that's what the gamers wanted. That's what the consumers wanted. They saw this epic game and they wanted it on consoles, so they ported it to console. It came to the original Xbox. That's how I found out about it. This is just one enormous reason why multi-platform games are good, whereas they think they're bad for some reason.
You look at games like Uncharted 4, The Last of Us, God of War, Days Gone is looking amazing. I can't wait to play that. Gran Turismo, Ratchet & Clank, The Last Guardian, all these great exclusives on PlayStation, and then Nintendo as well. Don't forget, Nintendo's got 3D Mario games, you got Zelda, you got Smash Bros, you got Mario Kart, a lot of great games on Nintendo platforms as well. Even Xbox, before, Halo and Gears were exclusive, no longer, but at one time they were. And you don't really have these big name games on PC that are exclusive. You know what I mean?
Star Citizen, Civilization 6, Black Desert Online, Unreal Tournament, the new Unreal Tournament with the Unreal Engine 4, which, by the way, is still in pre-alpha. Pre-alpha. It's not even in regular alpha yet, which comes before beta. And this game looks freaking phenomenal. It's not even in beta yet, and it looks freaking phenomenal. Ashes of the Singularity, Arma 3, and Dota 2. I'm pretty sure those are all big names and PC exclusives. If any of those are not exclusive to PC, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I have reason to believe that these are all exclusive to the PC. In fact, let's look at Dota 2. I mean, come on, you guys. Dota 2. You know, Dota 2, that game that everyone's talking about. Dota 2, that one game that people come from all over the world to compete in. Dota 2. Millions of dollars have been won. This game is probably one of the most popular games. Oh, right, Counter-Strike. CSGO, that's another one. CSGO, also. Huge in esports. It's huge. So don't sit there playing Destiny and tell me that there are no PC exclusives that are of note, because there are.
And that's the biggest problem with PC at the end of the day, is that it doesn't have exclusives that are worth it. Okay?
See, this is an example of subjective statement and not a fact. I just wanted to let you guys know that. Just because he says that doesn't mean it's true.
For me personally, the only PC exclusive that I got was Metro 2033, and that ended up coming to consoles later on as well. So there's just not that much on PC in regards to exclusives. There's just not. I mean, as far as quality goes.
Oh, I dare you to go on to Game Jolt and try to find the bottom of the list. Just try. There's literally thousands of indie games, and not all of them are garbage. In fact, you can go on to Game Jolt and arrange the games in the order of community ranking. So you can go on to Game Jolt and find good indie games that other people have found for you already. It's not that there aren't any good indie games, you're just too lazy to go out and find them, friend.
Sure, you may have these bad indie games here and there, but you see the reviews on Steam. These games are not good.
Oh, sorry. I was waiting for him to give an example of an indie game that's not good. Because he didn't name one. He just said that they're all not good. Undertale is an indie game that's good. In fact, it has an enormous following. I mean, yeah, the fandom's kind of weird, but Undertale is not a bad game. And it's an indie title. Also, Freedom Planet. Freedom Planet is a gigantic love letter to 90s side-scrolling platformers like Sonic the Hedgehog, Rocket Knight Adventures. It blends several different aspects from several different platformers. It was an indie title. It got greenlit on Steam, and now, I believe it's on the Wii or the Wii U. It's an indie game that was so good, it got ported to a console. Don't try to tell me that indie games are bad. There are some great indie games out there.
So, that's really it. I mean, PC doesn't have worthwhile exclusives the vast majority of the time. And you have all these other issues, So, next time you have these PC nerds that feel the need to rag on console peasants, I think you need to slap them with some information to shut them up, because they're really getting out of hand right now, are these PC nerds. And like I said, I'm ashamed at times to call myself a PC gamer because of these clowns. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep it frosty.
I like how he claims to be a PC gamer, And then he turns around and proceeds to call us nerds. I remember a time when just playing video games made you a nerd, an outcast. People viewed you as either a grossly malnourished or grossly obese, basement-dwelling loser with no friends. And it didn't matter what platform you gamed on. You weren't worth people's time. And just the pure fact that you liked video games and that you played video games and that you spent a good majority of your time playing video games, it pretty much guaranteed that you had no chance of being popular whatsoever. Now, there's one thing I do agree with you on, good sir, and that is the fact that there are PC elitists out there who do give unwarranted opinions about how vastly superior their high-end gaming PCs are. There's people out there that are just straight up jerks to anyone not gaming on a PC. Even though they can be jerks, though, and make these people feel bad about their choice of gaming, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're incorrect. PC gaming is objectively a better way to game. Objectively. You have the potential for better graphics, higher frame rates, multiple displays, which is my next goal in my gaming life. I would love to have a second display. Upgradable hardware so you don't have to buy an entirely new PC altogether if you want better performance. You don't have to pay to play online, unless a specific game requires a subscription. I mean, all in all, you just have more choices in general, which is where PCs really sort of win, is the fact that you have choice and you have options as not only a gamer, but as a consumer. You can choose how you want to game, and you can choose what companies you want to support. With Xbox and PlayStation, they're great consoles, and they can put out some good graphics. However, nobody outside of the console community would view 30 frames a second as solid or smooth. In fact, after gaming on PC for a while, I tried switching back to 30 frames a second, and I just couldn't do it. Not with my games. If I'm watching a movie at 24 frames a second, yeah, sure, absolutely. Give me that cinematic look and feel. However, given the fact that PC gaming is objectively better, on a subjective level, we can all choose the game how we want on what platform we want to game on. It just really bums me out how divided everybody is on gaming. It bums me out even more that certain individuals will claim to be, quote unquote, on your side, and yet they'll still try to divide the community against you. I'm a PC gamer. I do enjoy PC gaming, but I'm going to tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't even consider PC gaming. No, that's not the way you go about trying to inform people. How about this? There are many, many advantages to PC gaming. However, there are certain advantages to consoles. Why don't you have a look at the reviews and try things out? Talk to a few people. Talk to people who own Xbox. Talk to some people who own PlayStation. Check out some YouTube videos. Talk to people who own PCs. Ask them if they built their PC themselves. If they did build their PC themselves, ask them to spec out a build for you. Tell them what you're looking for. There are PC gamers out there that want to help you get into PC gaming. And PC gaming used to be scary. To me, anyways. But once I learned about it, once I actually took the time to actually look into it and see what it was all about, I found out that it was actually a pretty great thing. And in fact, I started gaming on my PC. I just stopped using my 360 altogether. Why? Because pretty much all the games that I had played on my 360, I now had on my PC. Not only did I have them on my PC, I was running them at higher resolutions, smoother frame rates. And, a lot of these games have mods on PC too, so even when you beat the core base game, you basically have free content you can add to the game. Skyrim. That's pretty much it, you guys. I just wanted to sort of respond to this video just because it's just nothing against this gentleman here. I mean, he put together a good video. He had, it was structured really well. It wasn't annoying to listen to by any stretch of the imagination. However, I just feel like he's either not fully informed or he's just straight up being dishonest and deceptive. I mean, it's entirely possible. Either one of those cases is entirely possible. I'm not trying to say it is one way or another. And I certainly don't want you to go to his channel and start hating on him. No, definitely not. That's not what I want at all. What I would like is if you were to go to his channel and interact with him. I mean, that's what I do. If I watch a video, I'm like, oh, is this a troll? Like, are you serious? Like, you can't be like, you're kidding, right? I mean, there's trolling somebody, and then there's hate speech, and then there's just calling somebody out. There's a difference. I'm just trying to call these guys out. I'm trying to call them out on not being anti-PC. They're being anti-gamer, because you hating on PC gamers is you hating on gamers. We're all gamers. We all seem to forget that. Not all. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. There's a lot of us out there that seem to forget the fact that we have this amazing thing in common. This amazing thing that used to be taboo. It used to be something that would make you an outcast. It was something that meant that you pretty much had no social life. The fact that we all the fact that we all don't have to hide our love for gaming out of fear of rejection is amazing. That alone deserves celebration, you guys. That alone deserves... We should be uniting over this. I'm going to keep saying this until you guys freaking listen to me, too. We are gamers. And to be honest with you, Microsoft, Sony, probably Nintendo too, I don't know, all these publishers and big gaming companies, they don't care about gamers. At least a lot of the decisions they make do. Mostly Microsoft and Sony. I mean, Nintendo does weird stuff, but they make great games. So, and they make games that don't have bugs. I mean, I'm yet to see a Nintendo game with a bug that was just blatantly obvious. The only bugs I've ever seen were incredibly forced, or they just outright just got into the game and just hacked the game and just went to town. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked again, you guys. All in all, I just don't lie. Don't be dishonest. Don't try to mislead people in order to sway them to your side of the argument or discussion, because it's just bad for your own credibility. And, the internet is forever. So if you say something, or if you say something dishonest, or if you say something that's just biased or outright not true, you're going to lose credibility. I mean, you might not lose credibility with your particular audience, but that also is in effect that's limiting yourself. You're limiting your own growth, because you're limiting your growth to this small group of people, this vocal minority that agree with you. You see what I mean? I got tired of being the silent majority. So this is kind of my way of, I don't know. I don't think I'm really doing anything heroic by doing this, by responding to this video. I just wanted to bring to light some of the points that some of these console gamers bring up. Because even when I was a console gamer, I never said stuff like this about other platforms. And when I did, I was maybe 10 years old, and I was arguing with my friend over whether Sonic could beat Mario in a race. It wasn't even really about the platform itself. It was about the characters that occupied that platform, that represented it. So, anyways, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. Please, please, please do not go to this person's channel and start abusing them or hating on them. Do not. I beg of you. See, that was me begging. That was an example of begging because I actually said I was begging. Signing a petition is not begging, you guys. I'm going to get out of here. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other and do something heroic today. And don't lie to people. Game on. Enjoy your games on whatever platform, but also demand a change. Demand something better for yourself. Demand that Microsoft and Sony stop charging you to play the games that you like with your friends, because that alone is just anti-gamer. If you want a game with your friends, give us money. Anyways, you guys, I'll see you on the next one. Until then, this is NeroTheHero signing out. Peace.